Thank you. Yes. It's the most important one, I think. Thank you, and welcome here in my living room. I hope that you have some air conditioning, because I don't, and it's very, very hot. I even don't know if everyone is in Holland right now. I heard somebody saying that she's in Curacao, I think. So, yeah, well, welcome, and I hope you can stay awake, because I heard about the time difference. I want to share with you a very personal story today. I always had a dream, a big dream, to become a concert pianist, and I want to tell you a little bit about the road and all the bumps and all the challenges I had to fulfill that dream. And that dream is about music, and music is for me always the way to connect to myself, but also to connect to other people. So I think to start this session, I would like to take you with me to my little music room and just start by playing for you one of my favorite pieces. Yes? I do. One second, we're checking. Oh, we can stay here. Just be sure that you mute. Okay, then we switch to my studio. When I think about my life and where for me my true road to music started, I think about one very intense moment, a pivotal moment in my life, when I was 11 years old and my very best friend died in a car accident. She was on her way to my home to come play with me, and she got hit by a car and she died. I was completely devastated. I was in shock and I didn't know what to do with all these emotions I felt. And my father, he shared with me something really important, something that maybe at that age I didn't really understand, but I realized that he said something, he said some words of big importance. He said, you can use this grief that you feel as inspiration. You can use the grief to create something with it and to maybe inspire other people. I never forgot about those words, and I actually think about them every single day. As I told you before, I had one big dream in my life, and that was to become a concert pianist. I already started playing when I was 3 years old, and I knew that I would do anything to fulfill my dream, to reach that goal. I also knew that if I wanted to become really good, I had to go to the conservatory. So I auditioned and I got accepted. And because I lived in a very small village in close to Zwolle, and the conservatory was in The Hague, I decided to move away from my parents' house and stay with a guest family to spend as much time as possible at the conservatory. I was super excited. I was 14 years old, and for me it felt like this was my first real big step towards my dream. And the first months were amazing because I was surrounded with people with the same dream. There was a lot of competition, but it was also very inspiring. But then everything changed for me as I was actually in a very unsafe place because my host couldn't keep his hands off me, and at one night he sexually abused me. I was so scared, so I ran away from that house, from his house, and I didn't dare to tell anyone what happened. So I just walked the whole night through town till the moment that I could go to school, till school opened. And from that point, a very difficult, hard life started because I was leading a doubled life. On one hand, I was always smiling because I didn't want anyone to know what was going on. I was so scared that if my parents would know, they would, well, first of all, I thought my dad will get a heart attack. And secondly, I think they would have taken me back home, and in my thought, that would be the end of my dream, of fulfilling my dream. So I decided to pretend like nothing was going on, and I did pretty well. Nobody asked me. There was not a single day that anyone thought that I was leading the life that I was actually leading. Nobody knew that I never knew where I was going to sleep at night, that often I didn't have food to eat, and that I would just walk whole nights through town in The Hague. Just imagine a 14-year-old girl walking through those streets at night. Now, when I see a 14-year-old girl, my heart just, I feel so much pain in my heart. But then I felt so strong. I felt like, I need to be able to do this. there was not a single moment that I thought I should just go home and tell my parents about this. On one of those nights, something special happened. A homeless guy came to me and he just asked me for some money. And of course, I didn't have money. I was super tired because I hadn't slept for I don't know how long, but I was very tired. I was very scared. I felt very dirty and I just felt ashamed. And so I reacted pretty heavily. I just lost my control, my temper completely, and I said, just go away. I said it with different words, but I don't want to tell you those words. I said, just go away. I don't even have money to buy food myself, let alone to give you the money. This homeless guy, he just looked me in the eyes and he said, wait here, don't go away, I'll be back. And I waited, and it felt to me like I waited for hours. Maybe it was a couple hours, it felt like 6 hours. But something inside me told me that I had to wait because I really believed that he would come back. And after however long it was, it felt very long, I see him walking towards me, and the only thing he said was, hold your hands up. So I hold my hands up, and from all his pockets he gets money, and he gives all the money that he had to me. Not for a second I thought about the money or about all the food that I could buy with that money. But for the very first time I felt seen. Actually, for the very first time I felt a connection with somebody. I had felt so alone, and suddenly I felt some ground under my feet. And this guy, his name was Martin, he became a real good friend, and he really gave me the power to just continue. He gave me the strength. And he was a very inspiring man. He didn't have anything. He slept on the streets. He didn't have anything, but he had very big dreams. And every day he shared another big dream with me. And one day he had seen a big house that he wanted to buy. The other day he wanted to become a pilot. And one day I asked him, Martin, how is it possible that you have all these dreams while you know that those dreams will never come true? And then he said, there's one thing you should never forget. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how much money you have, but never forget to dream. Because when you dream, you can fly. I think this is a beautiful moment to play a very beautiful piece for you called Fly. Martin played, he had a really big role in my life. He really started to take care of me, and he made that I felt safe in town. And he introduced me to all kinds of other homeless people, and I just formed, a very special relationship with them. And of course I wanted to thank them for their help. So one night I invited them all into this very small Italian restaurant where there was a piano. And I started to play the piano for them, to thank them. And that was such an important moment, because for the first time in my life I really felt what music can do with people. I felt how the music just gave them a sense of hope and a sense of worthiness. And it also gave me that feeling, because I felt connected. I felt a real connection. And when I felt that, I kind of found my purpose in life, because what I continue to do, what I still do, is play for people like homeless people or ill people or people in prison. People that normally don't really get in touch with music, at least live music. When I found that purpose, my career took off. Suddenly everything, it kind of felt like it went by itself, because I was in touch with myself. And I signed a very big record deal. Suddenly I traveled over the world giving concerts. Like everything that I dreamt of just happened. And of course, with a career taking off like that, and with success, there also comes a very big pressure. And it's still going very well, and I still feel that every day. I feel the pressure, and I feel that I'm somebody that really I want to please. Like today, I'm nervous for this session. First, because I'm sharing a personal story, which is always scary. But also because I, of course, want, I'm telling you an inspirational story. So I really want to inspire you. I feel the pressure of that. And that pressure makes, at least for me, what I always feel, that I lose connection with myself. Because what happens is that I start working. I start putting the pressure on myself, and I start working and doing my best and trying to keep everything under control. And at those moments that I feel that make me, first of all, very unhappy. I feel a lot of tension. And what happens is that I lose connection with myself and with you guys. So at those moments, also what I did today is I think back to moments like I had with Martin. Because when I met Martin on the streets, for the first time, after all these months that I was just pretending and smiling and like, I'm fine, nothing is going on. For the first time, I was a real person. For the first time, I was just myself. And yes, I was angry and vulnerable and ashamed. But what happened is that a connection happened. And that was magical. And what I feel now, and I hope, of course, that you are inspired and that this is a good session. But when I realized that sometimes you don't have to work so hard, you don't have to push so hard to reach that goal. Sometimes it's just really just being who you are, connecting to yourself. That makes things happen, because everybody wants to feel connected. This takes me back to music, because for me, music is about connecting, and I wanted to end this session. I want to take you back to where I started my story, with the advice that my dad gave me when my best friend died. When he said to me that I could use my grief as an inspiration, I remember that night I laid in bed and I couldn't sleep because I kept thinking about those words. I kept thinking like, how can I use this grief and create something beautiful with it? In the middle of the night, I walked towards the piano, and there I wrote my very first piece of music for my girlfriend. And it's that piece that I want to play for you. I wrote it when I was 11, so it's really small and really simple. But for me, it really stands for being able to feel yourself and to really connect. And it's called The Hourglass. I hope it's less warm there. Do you mind if I take my jacket off? Very welcome. Yeah, he is. I actually got to know him pretty well. We became friends, and like if you talk about success and career, he has a very inspiring story because in the beginning nobody believed in his music. His best friend became his manager, and for years they just got refused anywhere, any record company, everything. And now he's one of the biggest artists, semi-classical artists in the world, and he stays so true to himself, and he is so loyal to everybody around him. He works with the same team for 25 years now, and yeah, he's a big inspiration for me. I love his music, but also his him as a person, just to stay so calm and just to follow your own way, your own road in the midst of all this success. Yeah. Thank you for saying it. It's very funny because yesterday I recorded a podcast and it was about dreams, and of course they asked me that question, and if I'm very honest, maybe that's not so inspiring. My dream, look, I was always focused on music and my career. That was my biggest dream. And for a long time in my life, I felt like I was surviving every day. And now my big dream is just to fully live. And my dream now is, of course, I have goals, and I want to record a new album, and I'm going to go back on tour, and I have my own foundation. But my true dream is just to be more and more connected to myself. And that sounds very spiritual, and it's not, it's more that when I feel that for a long time I didn't really feel. I couldn't really let emotions in, and although music is all about emotions, but to really feel everything that I went through and everything that happens in life, and I didn't really dare to let those feelings in, and now I do. And yeah, that's the most wonderful thing in the world. And if you can do that and then connect and share with other people, for me that's just magic. So my dream is more personal than career-wise, because I also believe that when you're true to those feelings and you can really stay that connected, that you have such a rich life, and that all the other things, they will just come, because then you become an inspiring person just by being. He actually died a few years ago. So I'm not in touch. I'm in touch with other homeless people, because through my foundation I keep playing for them and trying to somehow stay connected. But what I also feel, and that's also why I have that foundation, is that it's also good to really have my boundaries there, because I really lived with them, and I let them in my house, and they showered at my place, and I celebrate every Christmas with like 750 homeless people in The Hague, and that's something that I will keep doing. But now I also feel like, I have my boundaries and want to protect my own space. So I'm a little bit more at distance, but it's also better for them, because I always thought that I could really help them, but I can't. The only thing I can do is to listen to their story and to try to see them as Martin saw me, and I know what an impression that made, so that's what I want to give back to people. Yeah. Yesterday, today, I hope. That's still, I think that's still, I still have a long way to go. But yeah, I think I realized actually this whole Corona time really helped me, because of I was always running, and doing concerts, and just to be at home and to really have time to sit down with my parents and my family and friends, and to really share, and not just the story, but also the feelings and emotions that come with that. I think in the last year it really changed for me, and I think your whole life, you take it a step further every single time. But there's a big change going on right now. Good question. I remember that somebody told me years ago, he said, you don't have to be unhappy to write beautiful music. Because I felt that I was always afraid to kind of have a boring, stable life. Because I thought then I can't write music anymore. But I know that's not true. So when the music changes, so I think my music is more, it has more light now when I write. And of course I still have, I still go very high and very low too. So at the low points, I still write those, more melancholic pieces. So I think every emotion you can translate into music. So every emotion helps, and also being happy, and then I can also create music. But I had to take that step. So it's a very good question. Yeah. I see it. Of course, I'm still dealing very much with what happened in my life, because I gave it kind of a place by telling the story as an inspirational story, and then it sounds beautiful. And for a long time I thought, I'm happy that all of this happened because it made me who I am. And but actually it wasn't so pretty. And I still have a smile on my face, actually always when I talk. That's just something that's still there, and I'm pretty happy right now. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. But the moment that I really leave myself and start pretending, I get very miserable. Um, yeah, just really taking. I know that sometimes you're not able. I would say, make place in your agenda to and build in those moments, because you can. I think you can do much better work when you're just connected and have some more space around you and in your mind. But I also know that sometimes that's not possible. So then just. I think what I try to do is every single moment that I'm driving, or I'm having lunch or whatever, to just sit down and take that time for yourself. And it's very easy to just grab your phone and do another email or send a text or look at Instagram just to get your mind off things. But it's just to sit and to breathe, and for a moment just ask yourself, like, what am I feeling? Because when you do that, when you try to feel like, what am I feeling, you connect to yourself, and it just gives some peace. And the other thing that I started doing when I was very busy is I started doing Miracle Morning. Do you know that? So it doesn't matter what time I start the day. If I have to be at a photo shoot at 6 o'clock in the morning, I get up 2 hours before, so at 4. So I have 1 hour just for myself. So I do a little bit exercise, I meditate a little bit, I read. Although it's, sometimes it's just 10 minutes. But I read and I write. Every day I start the day by just writing for 15 minutes. Just every thought that I have in my mind. And when you do that, and when you just do it every day, it really helps. Because you wake up still with things on your mind. And then I take a very, very, very cold shower. And it just helps me through the whole day. So yeah, that's the tip I can give you. Yeah. I was happy to be here. Thank you. Good luck on this day. Okay. Bye.